Hello and welcome to Connected. On this edition, cool off and take a dip in the award-winning lagoon right on our own doorstep. By day, she's a teacher, and at night, Taylor Wilton tells us why she loves to take the stage and sing up a storm. For the past 40 years, Noni Hazlehurst has been a part of our weekly TV viewing. But what's she doing now? We'll find out. And local musician Adam Brown performs live in the studio. It's time to keep it local and get connected. And welcome to the program. Well, summer is definitely here, and if you're looking for a great way to cool off, then I may just have the answer. Tucked away behind the University of Southern Queensland Springfield campus is the Orion Lagoon, designed by David Hatherley and V Designs. And last summer, it attracted almost 50,000 people per month from September to April. But the big news is that recently it bagged two major awards, recognising the facilities and the family-friendly environment. Joining us now is Lauren Levere, who is the Lagoon Cafe Manager. How are you, Lauren?
Great, thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining. What a great spot to work.
It's beautiful. Where else would you want to be?
Exactly. Now, of course, the awards was the Australian Institute of Landscape Architects 2016 Queensland Parks and Open Space Architecture Award. Long title.
It is.
And the Parks and Leisure Australia Queensland Regional Leisure Award. Yeah. They're big awards to take out, aren't they?
It's amazing. It's great for us. It's great for the facility and the community.
Will these awards hopefully spark more interest in it and obviously more maybe development down the track?
Yeah, I think it shows what's happening here. It shows what the big picture is for this community and what's being built here and the future that's coming. Yeah, definitely.
Of course, it's the overall reaction from locals and even visitors has been spectacular, hasn't it?
It has. We had over 400,000 people visit last year over the 12-month space that we've been open. People from interstate, international, our beautiful locals, people from everywhere.
Yeah. When you look at it too, I mean, it's got such a great layout. There's areas if you want to be involved in the parklands or in the lagoons, but also barbecue areas and things like that as well.
Yeah, that's right. We have facilities to cater for lap swimmers, for young children. We have a beautiful sculpture pool. It's about 60 centimetre depth, so you know that mid-range kids. That's where I take my 3-year-old because he can kind of run and pretend he's swimming. And we have wheelchair access facilities. So if you whatever range you are with water capacity, things, you can get in and have a go.
And of course, not far from the train station, so easy point to get to.
That's right. It's less than 5 minutes to walk. It's great.
Yeah. How long have you been cafe manager?
About 6 months now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the cafe's fairly new too. It's only been there 12 months?
12 months. Yeah, 12 months, and we've seen the flow through of traffic and the support of the cafe has been absolutely beautiful and amazing.
So is it a nice bread you put on there?
We do. We have some really great breakfast, stuffed French toast, Nutella. Who doesn't love Nutella at breakfast time?
There you go. I could bathe in that stuff.
That's right. Fish and chips for lunch by the beautiful water. What else could you ask for?
Yeah. And so you're open for breakfast and lunch?
Yeah, breakfast and lunch. And as we come into summer, we'll open later so that as it's warmer, the swimmers will be there till 9 o'clock. The facility's open till, and so we'll be there to open and cater for them. And
of course, the good news too is that it's all free access, isn't it?
That's right. That's exactly right. We often have people come and they go, "Oh, where do we need to pay?" And I'm like, "No, come in and enjoy it." And they're gobsmacked by the free access and the beautiful facility that they can just walk in and enjoy.
Yeah. One concern obviously around water is the safety issues. But once again, the Orion Lagoon is well catered for there too. Yeah,
we have an amazing group of lifeguards who do such a great job. They have low numbers. They work with about 1 to 50. So when we have 1,000 people there, there's a lot of lifeguards on, and they're really eyes on and interact with people so they know what's going on and where they are. So they're fantastic.
Well, I know that there's always some great events happening as well right throughout the summer period, so people should watch that space, as they say.
Yeah, that's right. We have the Springfield Markets, which is on the first Friday of every month. Coming out through the summer, we're going to have some movies in the park. We have the huge screen TV in the Robelle Lagoon area, so we'll have a couple of movies to the park. New Year's Eve.
I hear it goes off.
It does. It's very busy. It's great. It's great. The facility, there's great, community events that were on. Last week there was a children's festival, multicultural festivals. The park's always buzzing with something.
Well, Lauren, it sounds like the place to be. Thank you so much for giving us a little idea of what's in store for us at the lagoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And for details on opening times and facilities offered, visit discoveripswich.com.au. Up next, we find out how small local music venues are giving a leg up to new artists. Guest location reporter Ashley Jones sits down with the legendary Noni Hazlehurst, and Adam Brown performs live. Stay with us where we keep it local and you connected. And welcome back to Connected. Well, with the music scene becoming more and more intense every day and artists having to battle it out to win over crowds, upcoming artists are turning to local venues to help them stand out from the rest. A performer currently enjoying great success is full-time teacher and performer Taylor Wilton. And when you hear her sing, you can understand why.
Thank you. This next song is a song I wrote. It's called A Word of Advice. It's kind of like a little hint to guys out there to take all the girls' hints. Just a heads up. Here's 5 words for you. Don't let your friends decide. You've already made up your mind. Here's 4 words for you. Cast your feelings aside. Let them play the game by your side. Yes, it's step by step and one by one. My heart's marching to the sound of loving someone. Here's 3 words for you. Pretty, please realize that I'm not wearing a disguise. Here's 2 words for you. Completely compromised. When you stop believing all the lies. Yes, it's step by step and one by one. My heart's marching to the sound of loving someone. Yes, it's step by step and one by one. My heart's marching to the sound of loving someone.
Fantastic. Well, Taylor Wilton joins me now and Connected. How are you, Taylor?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm very good, and I was taking all of those hints you were feeding out there, all right?
Good.
Now, venues like Studio 188, where you were doing that song, are great because they give you that ability, I guess, to showcase to the local scene.
That's right, yeah. So it's really, I guess, community-based and lots of people come. It's just, I guess, really just lovely having it local.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. What originally got you into music?
In my 3rd year of uni, I was studying poetry. I started writing poems, and I just then wrote my first song in like half an hour, picked up a guitar, and that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, of course, one would think that with your talent you'd be teaching music, but that's not the case, is it?
No, it's not. No, I'm a maths and English trained teacher.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So you're teaching the kids maths and English, and then by night you're getting up on stage and performing?
Yeah, living the high life.
Yeah. Of course, formative minds, especially the classes you teach, year 2 at Rosewood School.
Yeah.
but they must also like the idea of having the teacher getting up there and singing.
Yeah, well, I have a guitar in the classroom, so like whenever it's maths or a new concept, I bring out the guitar. I'm like, oh, we can make a song about this. So
it's a great way to learn, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah. So we sing a song at the end of each day so they leave the classroom at least happy.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Yeah.
Man, I wish I had teachers like that. Now, something else you do, which many people may or may not know, but you also on weekends tend to wander into the Lady Salento Hospital and perform for the kids. That's a great remedial, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm part of an organisation called Radio Lollipop,
Yep.
and they're amazing. I started this year, and yeah, I get to go in, get to play games with kids. It's a radio station there, so yeah, it's just something that I want to be able to share, and what better way to do that with sick kids in hospital. And
it really passes the time for them, but also gives them a lift, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yeah. It must be rewarding for you to do that, but also rewarding getting up on stage, or you wouldn't do it, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's been the most rewarding aspect for you so far?
I guess just being able to share your own songs, and just having people come up to you and say, oh, I really like that, I really resonated with that, and or that lyric, and it just, oh, I love your voice, and I've just taken that all in, and I just keep doing it.
Yeah, because it must be difficult managing the time, because I mean, you'd have a lot of stress and pressure being a teacher, then to get up on stage every night. I mean, how do you fit it all in?
Yeah, well, it's a bit difficult. Yeah, people are just like, oh, how do you have time to do this and this? Yeah, no, it's very good time management skills, I think.
And a good scheduler.
Oh, yes, yeah. Lots of help from the parents. And
Right.
Yeah, and, just works really good as well, so, yeah.
Is music something you're going to continue to do?
I hope so. It just becomes a part of you once you perform up on stage. You can't let that go, so I'll just keep doing it no matter what, yeah.
Well, we wish you every success, and thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
And to find out more about Taylor and see some of her work and upcoming performances, head to her Facebook page at facebook.com/Taylor Wilton Music. Still to come, from play school to better homes and gardens, Noni Hazlehurst is a household name after 40 years on our TVs. But what's she up to now? We'll find out. And Adam Brown performs live in the studio. That's next on Connected. And welcome back. With an illustrious performing arts career, including work within film, television, radio and theatre, Noni Hazlehurst is no stranger to the limelight. While visiting Ipswich for her stellar performance in the stage play Mother, Ashley Jones caught up with her to talk about her work and the lasting legacy she wishes to leave behind for young performers.
So Noni, can you first tell us a little bit about Mother and what that production is about?
Sure. Mother is a play that was written for me by a wonderful writer called Daniel Keane, an Australian writer who's just been named a Chevalier of the Order of Arts and Letters, a knighthood for arts and letters in France, where he's very respected, although he doesn't seem to have had any coverage for that here, unsurprisingly. Matt Sholton, the director, and I worked together in 2013 for the Melbourne Theatre Company on a play, and I'd known Matt through a young girl I was mentoring who was in a production of his. I met him through her. And after the play in Melbourne, he said, what would you like to do that you haven't done before? And I said, well, I've never done a one-woman show. So he contacted Daniel, many of whose works Matt had already directed to great acclaim and won a number of awards for those productions and nominations for Green Rooms and Helpmans and so on. So he asked Daniel if he'd be interested in writing for me, and Daniel and I had met and he'd seen some of my work and he said yes. And so we got together over coffee and talked about things that interested us, things like empathy and people who slip through the cracks and the way that we're all being set against each other in this current environment of us versus them, and you're 100% wrong and I'm 100% right. And that people who are poor and disadvantaged aren't necessarily not just trying hard enough. You know, it's often through no fault of their own. So we said to Daniel, you know, if you'd like to go away and write a little one-pager, and we'll try and get you a grant to write the script, because that's pretty necessary for most Australian writers. And 10 days later, he knocked on Matt's door and he'd written it, handed it over. So he missed out on a grant, which is a bit silly. But it was, right from the start, a really complete and beautiful piece of work, very much along his regular lines, talking about social issues and people on the edges. And so Matt proceeded to mount this tour, to take it around the regions. We did Victoria and Tasmania last year, and this year we're doing New South Wales, Queensland. And it's basically the story of a homeless woman who has had no particular advantages in life, quite the reverse, who's had no support, who's never, obviously hasn't had a huge education, but who's lived with the consequences of her choices and her situation for maybe 40 years on the streets. And so she's not mad, but she's troubled. She's ironic, she's funny, she's a great observer, but her life has been dominated by actions that she took 45 years ago, from which she has never recovered.
And because you were part of that storytelling of actually bringing the script together, and your desire to see empathy and as you have said yourself in press, wanting to be a storyteller, do you see something of yourself woven in what you want to say through the words of this play?
Of course, I wouldn't want to do it if I couldn't find something that reinforced ideas that I think are important. Primarily the role and function of the arts, which is to promote empathy and to remind us that we share more similarities than differences, that we are all vulnerable and we're all ordinary and we all suffer and we all struggle, and there's no such thing as perfection. You know, all the things that the arts bring to us so fulfillingly and beautifully, and help to remind us that life can be worth living by celebrating that humanity. So yeah, I mean, and also the theme of mothering. You know, I'm a mother. My two sons are now 28 and 22, and you know, there are things that I deeply regret about their life experience that I maybe wished I'd done differently, or that circumstances hadn't been the way they were. So that feeling of regret, you know, I relate to that very strongly. It resonates for me. And the fact that, you know, as a mother, the umbilical cord is never broken. I don't know what it's like for fathers. I've never been a father, but certainly for a woman who's given birth, that link is absolutely unbreakable. I'd certainly like, as a legacy for particularly young female actors and also young men, for them to understand that it's not about them, that it's about telling the story. And one of my all-time acting gurus, Larry Moss, amazing American coach, he took away my nerves for all time by reminding me and telling me that they don't come to see me, they come to see themselves. So if I can take away that fear of judgment, which so many performers sabotage themselves with because, you know, they're worried about what people will think. All we have to do is tell a story, find a great story by a great writer who writes to serve humanity and serve the writer. So it's about humility. And I think there's a terrible conflation between celebrity and what actors and performers do. And we were talking about this, Matt and I, just today, about how, you know, you see all these news items in the entertainment column as opposed to the arts column on any news feed. And yes, there'll be a lot of actresses mentioned, but it's not their work that's been mentioned. It's their love life or their figure or what they're wearing or how they made a fool of themselves or their gal pal. You know, it's not about the work. So people sort of lump us all in with people who are just wanting to be famous for doing nothing. And most good performers work really hard. So I'd like to dispel those myths surrounding performers and artists in general. That we are, you know, kind of airy-fairy and away with the pixies, and really try and bring the arts up into some kind of, gosh, what's the word? Make them more normal, you know, make it just a part of life and not something seen as soft or lefty or elitist or any of the labels that are levelled at us, because, you know, why should we be seen as a threat? We just want people to feel and to relate no soldier comes back from a war going, gee, that was great. You know, so clearly we have a desire to live in peace and harmony deep down. And I think the arts help us to realise that we're not alone.
What an extraordinary actor. The one-woman play Mother continues on its national tour. The play received 2 Helpman Award nominations for Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Play and Best Regional Touring Production for the production house itself, If Theatre. And congrats to all involved, and once again an honour to listen to the words of Noni Hazlehurst. Well, now to some music on Connected, and Gold Coast performer Adam Brown performs regularly throughout southeast Queensland. His music covers a wide spectrum including contemporary pop, classic 90s, ballads and much, much more. He's here for us now on Connected with Wild. Please welcome Adam Brown.
I can tell by the way she talks. Hope I see it in her walk, that she'll only drive me wild. I can tell by the way she talks. And I can tell by the way she laughs. Oh, I see it when she looks at me, that I'll only drive her wild. I can tell by the way she laughs. Like a photograph, the time stands still when I find myself around her. I don't wanna miss a damn good thing when I find myself without her. And I can tell by the way she smiles. Oh, I see it in her face, that we drive each other wild. I can tell by the way she smiles. Like a photograph, the time stands still when I find myself around her. I didn't wanna miss a damn good thing when I find myself without her. I found all my strength in you. No, I don't want nobody new. Well, come on, tell me, how will this end? Now I watched you walk out that door, you couldn't bear it anymore. Now I know how to love and lose. And I can tell by the way she cries, a disappointed look in her eyes. Yeah, we drove each other wild. I can tell by the way that she never smiles. But like a photograph, the time stood still when I found myself around her. And I don't wanna miss a damn good thing when I found myself without her. And I was so scared of losing touch that I built that wall around us. I took my time, but I realized that I was standing on the outside.
Great voice, isn't it? That is Adam Brown. And you can check out the latest info on Adam through his website, adambrownmusic.com.au. Well, that just about wraps up this edition of Connected. Make sure you check out the latest guest info and special online segments on our website connectedtv.com.au and interact with our show on our Facebook page. Until next time, stay connected and bye for now.